Hello, everybody. Welcome to PC's Playbook. This is, I guess, my playbook. Today's a very special episode. You know, the NFL season is over. The Seattle Seahawks have won the Super Bowl. But in today's episode, I am doing my very own PC NFL awards. So basically, you know, the NFL honors are cool and all, but a real accomplishment is winning an award from me. Because not only do I give out, you know, my own awards, like my own opinions on who should have won the award, such as MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, all that stuff. But I also give my own awards, such as Best Play, Worst Play, Best Throw. All of these things that, you know, you see on the screen, like that deserves an award. It's going to get an award today. All right? So that's what we're doing today, and let's get right into it. Some of you may have seen earlier this week, I posted on Substack my nominations for these awards. Now, I don't expect every single one of you to, subscribe to my Substack, much less even have Substack as an app. But I do articles there, and make sure to go check that out because, I do some things there that are pretty cool, such as I made an article about all the nominations I had for this, award ceremony, from MVP to, worst throw. And I will read out the nominations now, so you don't have to go rushing over Substack to make sure you don't have to, get a subscription right now. But I will be saying the nominations, then the award. But for the future, go ahead and subscribe to my Substack. The first award, just like, NFL honors, I'm doing MVP, the big award of the season, the one that everyone is, from week 1 to week 18, just debating about completely. Now, this award this year had two pretty front-runner candidates, which are Drake May and Matthew Stafford. But I also had to throw in a third one, I have to have 3 nominations for each one, so I had to throw in Josh Allen in there just because he had a pretty good season, I would say. But, not as good as the other two. So I'm most thinking about these two, Stafford and May, for these awards. But this is going to go to Matthew Stafford, who did win MVP in real life. So me and the NFL agree on that. Even though it was a very close vote, I believe Stafford was the NFL MVP. He was just all around the best player in the league. He got his team to, the 5 seed into the conference championship after beating the Panthers and the Bears in the playoffs. But more or less in the regular season, he had a lot of touchdowns, which was the main thing, and a lot of yards. Also, just the all-around accuracy and watching Matthew Stafford play football, I was able to watch him, really, I would say, 8 games he played this year. I was watching, live. That was the only game I was watching because he had some primetime games and also had 2 games against the Panthers. A lot of quarterbacks, I barely really get to watch their entire game because I'll be watching the red zone or I'll be watching the Panthers game while their game is on. But Stafford is one of those guys where I can, tune into a primetime game or tune into the Panthers game and see just the utmost accuracy and amazing ball placement that no one else in the league can have. So that's why Matthew Stafford is my NFL MVP. Next for Offensive Player of the Year, my nominations were Jackson Smith-Njigba, Puka Nacua, and Christian McCaffrey. I felt like these 3 specifically were miles ahead of the rest. You can make an argument for Bijan Robinson to be in there, but these are miles above the rest in sense of just impact on their team. Especially the winner, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Me and the NFL also got this one agreeable, or we agreed on this one, mainly because he had an insane year. I think he had maybe 1,800 receiving yards, something like that, maybe even more, and was just week in and week out just so much problems for DBs. You saw it with, they would put so many people on him. You get Rashid Shaheed getting some, looks. You get Cooper Kupp getting some looks. You get, open up the run game. It would be just the success of the Seahawks offense ran through him, and that's one of the main reasons they won the Super Bowl. So that's my Offensive Player of the Year. Puka Nacua, close second. CMC, a bit of a more distant third. For Defensive Player of the Year, I took 3, edge rushing linebackers, Myles Garrett, Nick Bonito, and Brian Burns. These 3 were just absolute forces to be reckoned with on defense. Just so many problems for offenses to handle. But the winner, obviously, is the sack record holder, Myles Garrett. He had, I want to say, 22.5 sacks, 23 sacks, something like that. A lot of sacks. And broke the record for most sacks in a season by, just dominating offensive linemen, offensive tackles. So that's a pretty easy one for me. I think it was maybe unanimous in the NFL. I don't think it might have been unanimous, but it was pretty darn close. And this is a pretty easy decision for me to make to give this one to Myles Garrett. Now, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I nominated Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, and Tedero McMillan. Dart, of course, he didn't play the full year, neither did Shuck, but they both played really, really quality time when they did play, especially Tyler Shuck, who is my second place finisher in this. My first place finisher is the Tedero McMillan of the Carolina Panthers. He had the Panthers rookie record for receiving yards. Just an amazing year all around. Do not let this Jameis Winston Giants jersey fool you. I'm a diehard Carolina Panthers fan. So if you thought I was not giving this a T-Mac, you are insane. Dart, I felt like he played good defenses, but, the injuries and not playing enough kind of held him back. And Shuck just getting benched for half the year, start of the year, was his main case against him. Also, the interceptions were not great. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, there were so many highly picked defensive players in this draft that were so hyped up to start the year that, people thought the Defensive Rookie of the Year, case would be insane. It'd be like Abdul Carter, all these big guys that are, Travis Hunter, that are really highly touted. Yet my three nominees, none of them were, these high touted players like early picks. I have Carson Swettinger, Nick Emanwari, and Xavier Watts. These three were just absolutely amazing this year for all of their teams and great value. Carson Swettinger won in real life. I think he had one of the best years you could have for a rookie. But if you just watch Nick Emanwari play for the Seahawks, it looks, their defense changes entirely around him. A rookie second-round pick, it's around him. So my winner is Super Bowl champion Nick Emanwari for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think Schweissinger had an amazing year and would have won it many other years. Maybe not the 800th Sauce Gardner year, but many other years he would have won this award, but not this year. This is going to Nick Emanwari. For Comeback Player of the Year, I chose Christian McCaffrey, Aiden Hutchinson, and Derek Brown. Now, Hutchinson and McCaffrey were actually nominated for this award in real life. Derek Brown was not, which kind of surprised me. I guess maybe he's not like a main offensive player, like a main player like that, and also he's not, on a team. He's on a team that's called the Carolina Panthers, and the NFL just don't like them, or doesn't like them. He doesn't win anyway. This award is going to Christian McCaffrey. He had an amazing year coming off another injury. He's had many in his career. But I do want to put some respect on Aiden Hutchinson, who had a great year, and Derek Brown, who had what should have been an easy Pro Bowl vote in, but somehow not, which is just showing some disrespect to the Panthers. And I just wanted to put him in here just for some respect. Coach of the Year, I chose three. I don't think Mike Donald was his first year, but it's three new coaches-ish. Then Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, and Liam Cohen. All teams that, took over these teams when they weren't exactly in their prime, yet they got them on top. For me, this decision is decently easy to pick Coach of the Year. In real life, it was Mike Vrabel. I didn't even nominate Vrabel. I think they were schedule merchants, and they folded whenever they played a good team in the Super Bowl. But for me, it's hard to look at Ben Johnson and see that that's not the Coach of the Year. So I'm picking Ben Johnson for me. I feel like, McDonald was great, but he had a really good, he kind of came in with a good defensive team, good offensive team. I think he was a pretty close second. I'm not putting any disrespect on Mike McDonald's name. I'm just saying Ben Johnson had an amazing coaching performance, and same with Liam Cohen. But, the way Ben Johnson turned around this offense specifically, and Caleb Williams, is just absolutely amazing in 1 year. Assistant Coach of the Year nominees are Clint Kubiak, Vance Joseph, and Brian Flores. Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator of the Broncos. That's all I really need to know. I'm not even going to go too far deep into this. The Broncos had, debatably the best defense in the NFL, and he was in charge of that. So I'm not going to go too deep into this. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. Vance Joseph, Assistant of the Year. Now, for the final real award I'll be giving out in the PC NFL Awards is Protector of the Year. I'm nominating for this award Joe Tooney, Quinn Miners, and Garrett Bowles. These three were really good. I forgot who actually won in real life, but they had just absolutely amazing years. I will be giving this to Quinn Miners. I felt like his work on the Broncos offensive line, proving that from last season, was so good. This is the second time in a row that there's Assistant of the Year, Protector of the Year. You kind of see why the Broncos were doing well. They had the trenches, they had the coaching staff around them to get them to the AFC Championship game, and probably should have been the Super Bowl if Bo Nix hadn't got injured. That's why Quinn Miners is winning this award. Now here comes the fun part, the actual awards that I am making up. Starting with Best Throw. I have nominated Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young. Starting out with Caleb Williams to DJ Moore against the Packers, Caleb Williams to Roma Dunze against the Packers, and then Bryce Young to Tedder McMillan against the Dolphins. You might be thinking, Bryce Young had a throw to Tedder McMillan against the Dolphins. What? No, he didn't. I'm being completely biased right now and putting in a Bryce Young throw that I thought was just really cool. I mean, if you ask a Panthers fan what the best throw of the year was by Bryce Young, who probably won't say his throw against the Dolphins, but I will. I'm not going to make him win this award, but I'm just going to be biased, and I'm going to talk about Bryce Young for a second as a Panthers fan. Against the Dolphins, we were down 17-0. I believe we were either 0-2 or we were 1-3, something like that. We were not having a great year, and we were at halftime of that game, down 17-0, talking about, Bryce might need to get benched. I remember I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I was not with my dad watching this. We were both watching the game, and he texted me like, "Hey, it's time to put in Dalton." Like, I told him no and give him another chance, because I'm the biggest Bryce Young believer of all time. And it is 4th and 4 down 17-0. We need a conversion right now, or else Bryce Young's career could be over. He rolls out of the pocket, avoiding 2 sacks, stops, gets Bradley Chubb off of him, throws while getting hit 20 yards downfield to a perfect pocket Tedder McMillan, getting the 4th down conversion, starting out this comeback for Bryce Young, saving his career, basically, with an amazing throw. If you haven't seen the throw, go check it out. You'd probably be like, oh, that wasn't as impressive as Caleb Williams. It wasn't. That's why Caleb Williams to DJ Moore is winning this award. But I want to talk about Bryce Young. But, get back to the awards. Caleb Williams does win this award. This pass, DJ Moore against Packers, overtime. Doesn't really need to do a home run ball, but just boom, touchdown. That's going to win it. I think the Roman Dunze pass was slightly overhyped for the way he threw the ball. I think it was one of the best throws of the year, but he kind of didn't need to throw it like that. I mean, I think he didn't even barely got touched by that defensive lineman. I don't think he got touched at all. And he just kind of decided to do it falling over, which I guess worked, but I feel like he could have just been more poised, just throwing it, and it would have been less impressive of a throw, but still the ball placement there and the amount of, the greatness and stress in that situation is really cool, but still, DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, best throw of the year. Here's a fun one. Best run. I have Bijan Robinson against the Rams, his 93-yarder. He had 2 pretty big wins in that game, but that one especially. Jahmyr Gibbs against the Buccaneers, where he just was gone, just absolute pure speed. And then Jonathan Taylor against the Falcons. This one is really, all 3 of these aren't angry runs. I would just say these are just pure speed, especially Jahmyr Gibbs, who is just probably the fastest player in the NFL right now. But when you look at the 3 back to back, you see that Jonathan Taylor's run was just absolutely absurd. This was during his run of football where he was the consensus offensive player of the year. And then he kind of fell off when Daniel Jones got hurt towards the end of the year, I was a bit confused by all that. But it was just absolutely dominant. 3-touchdown game, 4-touchdown game, 50-point fantasy game against the Falcons. And, being able to watch that game at 9 in the morning, I think they might have, put it even farther up there. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor against the Falcons is an easy winner for me here. Here comes another fun one. All these are going to be fun. Worst throw. This is just kind of fun for me to look through the nominees and kind of look up on, because I have a few in mind, but looking up YouTube clips of them to make sure they're that bad. So my 3 nominees are, one is Tyler Shuck against the Buccaneers. If you don't remember this, he threw it in stride to a defender. I think it was just, they were not on the same page. But he threw it in stride to somebody, which is really funny to watch. Next, I have Jordan Love against the Panthers. This is the one where Michael Jackson there was no one else in frame, and he dropped the interception. But it was just an awful throw. And then, of course, everyone knows what's going to happen. Max Brosmer against Seattle Seahawks, which, of course, is going to win the award. Max Brosmer getting tackled. Doesn't take the sack, but instead throws it to the Seahawks linebacker, I believe Ernest Jones, and just kind of give him the ball, lets him score. Really funny, and just easiest win of award. I've had some easier ones of this entire ceremony. Yeah, Max Brosmer. Congrats on winning an award. I'm not sure if you're too happy about winning this award specifically, as it's for the worst throw, but, award works. Now, I have given out most valuable player, as in the MVP. But now it's time for the L.V.P., the least valuable player. I picked 3 players: Geno Smith, Evan Neal, who's the offensive lineman for the Giants, who was just awful, and Shadur Sanders. For me, Evan Neal and Shadur Sanders were just trying to get the other 2 candidates in there, but it's Geno Smith. Let's be real. It's Geno Smith. He was purely awful this year. So many receptions. The fact he didn't get benched, to me, even while they were tanking, was pretty astounding. I mean, he got hurt at the end of the season, but getting benched, not at all, was astounding to me. But yeah, Geno Smith, coming off a few good years, just looked so bad for the Raiders. He didn't really have much time to throw the ball, but when he did throw the ball, it would go to the wrong team most of the time. So Geno Smith, I guess, also congrats on this award. Next up is Best Value Draft Pick. Now, my 3 nominees for this are Nicky Manwari, Xavier Watts, 2 that got nominated for Defensive Rookie of the Year earlier, and Nicky Manwari 1, and then Kyle Monangai. Now, the first 2 were drafted pretty low, but not as low as Monangai, who was drafted 7th round. I would argue that the 2 I already said, Watts and Manwari, were better than Monangai in the season, but the 7th round pick running back getting that much value for the Bears is going to win Best Value Draft Pick for Kyle Monangai. And if you're a Bears fan and you're watching this, you're having a great time already. You got Ben Johnson, you got Caleb Williams in your best, you got Monangai now. So I'm just saying, a bright future for the Bears. So Monangai, 7th round pick, touchdown machine, winning Best Value Draft Pick. Next up is Best Catch. 3 nominees are Puka Nakua's catch against the Panthers, that inside one-hand catch. Isaac Tesla against the Packers week 1, where he kind of caught it way back here. And then Traylon Burks against the Broncos, the whole, OBJ catch he had in that game. This award is going to go to Isaac Tesla. I think him and Traylon Burks' catch are pretty on the same level for these Best Catch of the Year awards. I think, they're both insane one-handed catches. But it's the fact that he had 4 more of these on the season. There was a part of me that wanted to nominate Isaac Tesla for all 3 nominees in this award. But I didn't, because I wanted to give other people some chances. But I probably could have, and I could have gotten away with it. So Isaac Tesla winning this award for me with his catch against the Packers being his best one. Worst drop is CeeDee Lamb against the Eagles, Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Niners, and then Michael Jackson against the Packers. Michael Jackson's drop obviously being the one that was nominated for worst throw. Had it in the end zone, wide open. Could have gotten a pick 6, but just kind of dropped it. CeeDee Lamb, he had a bunch of drops against the Eagles. I think the one specifically was, a 30 or 40-yard pass downfield. He just dropped it. But this is going to go to Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Niners. There's no one within maybe 15 yards of him. Had it right here. Jumped for some reason, I think, and just missed it. Which is just really funny, especially because I had him on my fantasy team that week. I still won, of course, but it was just really funny to watch. So that's going to win worst drop. Best play. The first 2 nominees already won an award. Best throw. The award Caleb Williams and DJ Moore is nominated for best play. And then Jonathan Taylor against the Falcons, which won best run. But the third one has not won an award. It has not been nominated yet. Jameis Winston's catch against the Detroit Lions. Now you might be looking at me and say, PC, you look very biased right now to who's going to win this award, as you're wearing a Jameis Winston jersey. Now, I'm not a Giants fan. I just like Jameis Winston. Let's get this straight. I'm not a Giants fan. Like Jameis Winston. Panthers fan. And if you think, why, he's going to give it to Jameis Winston, bro, he's going to give it to Jameis Winston, then you're right. I am giving this to Jameis Winston. Have you seen that play? It was amazing. If you have not seen Jameis Winston's touchdown catch against the Lions, do it. You can, I don't care if you pause my video, dislike it, X out of YouTube, just leave it, never watch my videos again. You have to watch that video. It is a part of living life to watch Jameis Winston's catch and touchdown against the Lions. It is by far the best play of the year. If I could have given it every other award, I would have. It's the fact that it was a end around to, was it not Skronik, the Gunnar Olavsky guy, whatever his name is. End around to him. Jameis Winston was not open. He threw it anyway. Jameis Winston adjusts to the ball. Juke. Stiff arm spin move, high steps into the end zone, finger roll celebration, and then starts rolling the dice immediately in the end zone. And the fact that it's Jameis Winston doing that. If it was like Jalen Hurts doing it, it's like, all right, I'll nominate it for best play, but I'm giving it to Caleb Williams. But it's Jameis Winston. Watching that live was one of the best experiences I've had in my entire life. And I've been to I went to the UNC Duke game where Seth Trimble hit a buzzer beater, and I rushed the court twice. And honestly, I could have given that all up to watch Jameis Winston touchdown for the first time again. All right? Jameis Winston is winning a PC NFL award. All right? He is. And it's going to be this one right here. Best play, Jameis Winston. Now the mood comes a bit down as we go to worst play. Two of these are from the same game. I think you can guess what those two are. But the first one that is not from that game is Caleb Johnson against the Seahawks, letting the ball bounce in the end zone, and they just grab it for a touchdown. And the two, of course, that were in the same game, was it Imani DiMarcano? I forgot how to say his name completely since that play. I've not seen him. Imani DiMarcano, or Mercado, just drops the ball before the end zone against Titans. And then the entire Cardinals defense, I'm not even going to name one player, it was the entire Cardinals defense against the Titans. Another one of those things. You got to watch that play to make it happen. Look up just entire Cardinals defense versus Titans play. I think Tyler Lockett scored a touchdown. That's going to win worst play. I'm just going to talk about it for a second, but that is going to win worst play. Is going to be the Cardinals defense. They got an interception, which is pretty good. Cam Ward didn't even throw that many interceptions this year. I mean, he threw a lot, but compared to how many touchdowns he threw, but he didn't throw that many overall. Threw an interception. And then, with no one around the guy, I forgot what even his name was, he just dropped it. Just kind of dropped the ball. And then his teammate, trying to pick it up, kicked it back into the end zone. So now we're in a danger zone here. We're looking at a possible safety for the Cardinals or a touchdown for the Titans. And then someone tried to dive on it, but they missed it again. And then Tyler Lockett just kind of picks it up, and that's touchdown Titans. Mixing that with DiMarcado dropping the ball at the 1 yard line, this was the most winnable game I've ever seen in my entire life. The Cardinals were up by a lot, and they had both those plays, which were like big plays, interception and a touchdown, what could have been. And not, they actually, neither of them were. So Cardinals fans, I feel bad, but your entire defense is going to win an award here in the worst possible way. Now for one that I'm really surprised the NFL doesn't give out is Best Special Teams Player. I nominated the Seahawks punter and kicker, Michael Dixon and Jason Myers, who were both amazing in the Super Bowl, and I personally think Michael Dixon should have won the Super Bowl MVP. And then another Super Bowl player, Brendan Schooler, who was the gunner for the Patriots, and especially in the playoffs, and you got to watch him in primetime, was just absolutely absurd. Just watching him just sprint towards the guy in the punt and just get him down immediately. But yeah, this is going to go to Michael Dixon. I feel like he was the best puncher in the league this year, especially in the Super Bowl. He was absolutely amazing. He's this great punch in the Super Bowl, but also in the Super Bowl, I'm going to keep saying Super Bowl, and you're going to keep being like, why are you saying like that? It's weird. It's Super Bowl. Snap for a field goal, right? He grabbed the snap off the ground and perfectly placed it. I know it doesn't sound that impressive, but it was on the dirt when the ball got to him. The long snapper gave him a bad snap. Got it perfect. Boom. Jason Myers, good. That is my Super Bowl MVP right there. All right? Michael Dixon, Best Special Teams Player. Now, finally, the final award of PC NFL Awards is the Best Game of the Year. These three are my pretty easy top three. I think it's hard to, out of those three, kind of pick one, but the top three are Bears-Niners, that insane back-and-forth game. Ravens-Bills, that insane comeback game by the Bills. And then Seahawks-Rams, of course, 38-37 or 39-38, one of those two. Overtime win for the Seahawks. This is the one award that I went into this thinking I would figure out midway through. But I have not. So I'm going to kind of just think about it for a second. I think I'm going to go with Rams-Seahawks. I think that was the one that was... most people would pick that. I mean, it's hard to pick between that and Bears-Niners. The Rams-Seahawks, a comeback victory, the Shaheed punt return starting it all, and then that two-point conversion, both two-point conversions, really, the controversial one and then the game-winning one. That was really fun to, we had actually watch live. It was not fun that I was playing against Buka Nakua in fantasy that week, and he had 45, I think. But it was really fun to watch live, and that's going to win Best Game of the Year. That concludes my award ceremony. This is the first annual one. I'm looking to, hopefully be still doing this by this time next year and keep doing this. But for now, that's all I have today. This is the only thing I'm doing today. I'm just doing the awards. And I guess peace. Thank you for watching.